Well, welcome to a new video, guys. Thanks for checking this out. And yes, it's about time. Obviously, that is a pun on the fact that we haven't had a main entry to the Crash series since over 10 years. Yes, I do feel quite old right now. And it's obviously based on the concept of the game itself. Now, we did have a remaster on the first 3 games not too long ago for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One and Switch. But there are a fair few titles that they seem to miss out that they didn't include, but they did comedically enter in the actual trailer itself.
How many times have you beaten this clown anyway?
3.
Really? Only 3? Funny. Seemed like more.
So how did we actually get a new Crash game in 2020? Click like, hit subscribe, and let's get into a little journey on how we actually got there. Then later on I get into the meat and veg on the new release of Crash 4 It's About Time.
The first 3 entries released for the PlayStation 1 was back in 1996 to 1998. The developers noticed that both the Sega console and Nintendo console had their very own mascot. With the new PlayStation on the horizon, they brought in Crash Bandicoot. Crash was heavily advertised over in the States, and my personal favourite being the one when he heads outside of the Nintendo headquarters and gives them a bit of a banter.
Plumber boy, mustache man, your worst nightmare has arrived. Pack up your stuff. I got a little surprise for you here. Check it out.
Yes, the great days when companies were actually joking around with each other. In partnership with Sony Entertainment, the company behind this was none less than Naughty Dog. Yes, the same guys who brought us the very awesome Uncharted series and the most recently The Last of Us. After selling around 15 million copies collectively, Naughty Dog was only signed up to make 3 games. Crash Team Racing was possible as Crash 3 started out in production just after Crash 2 and managed to pop a couple of extra games within the time constraints. With the release of Crash Bash, Universal Interactive publishing deal with SCE had ended. Then came in the transition to third party. Now Crash Bandicoot can be accessed to all major platforms. There were 4 titles added to the main series, and they were all actually released for the PlayStation 2 as well. Traveller's Tales jumped on board first, a British-based company that we may know from their more recent work with their crazy amount of hits with the LEGO series. For them, work had to begin of the game from scratch after submitting their entire creation and were given only 12 months to complete it. The game received mixed reviews, but made it to the greatest hits lineup due to their strong sales. Following the release of the Insane Remaster trilogy, Webb, a member of Traveller's Tales, sent an open letter to Vicarious Visions, congratulating them on the large success of the game. In the letter, Webb stated that if they would be ever interested in developing a Twinsanity remake, he and a handful of previous developers would gladly return to work on it. As a bonus, he added a piece of artwork containing all the characters within the Twinsanity. An idea for a sequel was planned by Traveller's Tales, but it was cancelled alongside the studio's closure, and development of the further Crash Bandicoot games were transferred over to Radical Entertainment. These guys behind the awesome work of Simpsons Hit and Run and the failed Prototype series, actually a pretty sweet game, and later they merged on into supporting team for the Destiny game. Both games again were very mixed views and still had some very good ratings. When this was all going on, Naughty Dog were creating a new trilogy with a new mascot that was also spawned off into a number of side games and portable games. The very much loved family-friendly comedic series Jak and Daxter. I believe how we ended up with a 4th in the series, coming our way in 2020, was the first initial hype that extended from Uncharted 4 Easter egg, when the player towards the end of the game comes across an original PlayStation 1. There you play as Nathan Drake playing the very first Crash game. I remember Twitter went nuts and was popping around online everywhere of people coming across this. With this support and reaction from fans, this must have drew a lot of attention to actually get a remake out there for us. A decade after and a couple of years in the past of this video, a remaster was born of the first 3 selling games, selling over 10 million copies, and is developed by Vicarious Visions. Now this brings us to Crash 4 It's About Time, coming this August.
Crash Bandicoot, you banished me to the past. But all it did was give me more time to plan your doom.
This time it is built using the Unreal 4 engine, which is new to this series, and at this time it is developed by Toys for Bob, the same team that brought us the Spyro trilogy that came out shortly after the Insane trilogy. Some members from Toys for Bob actually assisted in creating the Insane trilogy, adding that Crash experience. It personally came across more of a polished remaster than that of the Crash Insane. Here you will notice some of that design inspiration is moved from Spyro over to the new Crash 4. The story is written by a newcomer called Mandy Benanav, who also worked on games like Stranger Things and Minecraft. As you can see, the game is visually impressive and it's kept to its traditional level design and elements from the original, really making it feel like a direct sequel to that of the third in the series. Unlike previous entries, players can now switch between Crash and Coco at any time during a level, with both having the same movesets as each other. You can make use now of 4 different masks to overcome complex problems, and also the mask will allow certain abilities like slow down time. Players can also control the nemesis Dr. Neocortex at some parts of the game in order to transfer levels, making use of gadgets to overcome traps and obstacles. I have noticed that in the trailer you can pick up some purple berries. I think you may be able to throw these at enemies, as I haven't noticed any rocket launcher within this trailer. It's looking up to be shaping out an awesome, promising game, something I would personally more enjoy than that of the remaster that came out, keeping that traditional format with implementing new features, story and gameplay.
So yeah, it does look pretty awesome, I must say. Graphically and visually it does look pretty sweet, and it's a new entry to the main series. So if you guys like this video, do hit that button, help me support this channel by clicking subscribe. I do have a Patreon going. Leave your comments below, let me know if you're actually looking forward to this yourself, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.